Today, we're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about how to simplify the sales process and sell more with less stress. Hey, who wants that? You guys want to sell more with less stress? Let me know below. I know some people say, hey, no, I'd rather have all the stress and not make any sales. But if you do want to sell more with less stress and simplify the process, then you're in the right spot. Because Tyler's got some knowledge bombs drop on you guys. We're going to get right into it. So real quick question, who's ever got an objection from a prospect? If you've got an objection before, let me know down below. If you've done sales more than 2 seconds, you've probably got an objection. Literally, it's impossible for you to never have one, but let me know anyways below if you've gotten one in the comments. And I'd love to know what your most common objection has been, or your least favorite one to get. And just let me know that in the comments. I would love to hear what some of the objections you guys get and which one's most common, or which one you really hate when people give you that objection. Let's go ahead and get rolling. Tyler, for those that don't know you, can you give us a little quick bio, a little background, a little how you've killed it in the industry, how you've helped, what your experience has been, and then go ahead and hop into that first value point for us.
So I'm Tyler Raymer. I'm an independent agency owner. Reminder, as an agency owner, everything I teach, I do. I don't operate in theory. So some years back, I walked out of a car dealership because I got sick of the management, walked into an Allstate office, got a job as a producer, sold pretty well, started refining my sales process, and then discovered a little bit about social media and started generating my own business. And then by the end of it, roughly half my business was coming from social media. I had moved to Portland from Roseburg and went independent and realized that my sales process wasn't that great because I was still getting a lot of price objections. I was getting a lot of, I don't get paid till this certain day, or I got to talk to the spouse or the boss or the dog or whoever the case may be. Or, maybe it's too much hassle. I don't want to do it now. I want to wait till my renewal, or whatever the case may be, right? And so I started developing a process to not just overcome those things, but prevent them. Eventually, I got sick of being an employee because I'm constantly trying to improve, because there's always somebody better than me, but it's not about being better than them. It's about being better than myself. And I didn't really have the room to do that as an employee. So I moved back to Roseburg. Douglas County is my home, and opened up an agency. And I've been teaching agents my processes ever since. So as far as sales goes, I topped some charts a while back when I was at Allstate for some small regional contests that we had. Almost all of my business was self-generated in Portland, and obviously now all of my business is self-generated as an agency owner. I don't have any leads fed to me or anything like that. And I have about a 95+% retention ratio with the standard and preferred market. And my non-standard retention ratio is probably about 89, 90. But usually the ones that end up leaving, it's often because of non-payment, because obviously non-standard, usually a higher risk market. There's some correlation there. But it's because my process is vastly different. That's the short version. I might have missed some points, but we're going to get into our value point. There's a thing where a lot of like sales trainers and stuff, they'll tell you got to have the right mindset or whatever the case may be. But sometimes that's really, really abstract. I try not to work in abstractions because I feel that something that's abstract can be interpreted in many, many ways. And in the sales world, that's not good because you need consistency. People's thought processes, we're human beings, and we're all different, but we have patterns and ways that we think and receive and absorb information. And so if everybody's interpreting some piece of information differently, everybody's doing something different and nobody knows what's working that well. But when I talk about mindset, I'm talking about your mindset in the way that you actually operate toward your customer. And here's what I mean by that. When you're focused on the sale and you're focused on the money, for a lot of people, maybe not everybody, that actually brings on stress because you're worried about the money. Am I going to make this sale? Am I going to make this dollar? And sometimes your customers can sense that desperation. No matter what you believe in, like maybe for lack of a better term, on a spiritual level, it's been proven that we do get for lack of a better term, vibes from each other. You meet somebody, you're like, I got a bad feeling about this dude. And then you turn around and find out he stole $20 out of your wallet or something, right? We get those vibes from other people. And so when you're focused on the money and what you're worried about is the sale, sometimes your customers can sense that. And when they sense that desperation, they're either not going to trust you or they're going to take advantage of you, or both. And you don't want that. So what you focus on and how you do your presentations is you focus only on how can I make my customer's life better? Not how can I make this sale? How can I improve their life? Even at the risk of losing a sale, what can I do to make their life better? And the first thing you can do is tell the truth and be honest with them about everything. And sometimes that honesty includes, I'm sorry, I can't save you any money, but here are some cool secrets about the industry, Mr. Prospect, that, you know, the other agents probably aren't telling you. And maybe it's something simple like about how carrying higher liability limits will get them lower rates when they get quotes down the road, or changing insurance too often will hurt their rates, or just whatever it may be. You know, you give them guidance. You know, if they have bad credit, maybe you can point them in the direction of how some free resources that can help them improve their credit score, and you'll requote them 2 months from now if they've done that, because I think your credit score updates like every 45 days or a month or something like that. Somebody let me know in the comments, because I honestly don't remember. But when you focus on helping them and making their life better, no matter what the cost of that's going to be, they sense that vibe off of you instead. They sense your authenticity and your desire to help, and they trust you. So it eases the stress in your mind, because all you're focused on is helping them. And if they leave that conversation not being able to do business with you, and this is especially true with captives, because remember, I was captive, you know, sometimes you just don't have a better deal and there's nothing you can do. You know, you might be able to get them slightly better coverage at $60 more a month, but you can't really justify it. But at the end of the call, if they're going, you know what, you may not have been able to save me any money, but I've never had anybody explain to me how my coverages work the way you did, and I really appreciate you, and I'm going to send you all my friends. Your mission is still accomplished, and when you accomplish your mission, you feel good about yourself, and that again, that reduces stress. That makes you feel better. And you know, but when you're focused on the money, and you're like, I got to get that money, I got to get that money, I got to get that money, then your prospects might sense it, and then when you don't get the sale, you're disappointed. Not that it's not disappointing to lose a sale sometimes, especially if it was a big one. You know, I had somebody come to me, I think about 2 weeks ago, that was paying quite a bit per month. They were paying like $408 a month for not very good coverage, but their driving record and credit combined made it to where none of my carriers were coming in, even $100 a month, within $100 a month of their cost. So I couldn't save them any money. But I gave them the guidance and showed them what their future timeline looked like as far as their driving record. And I talked about their credit and the things that they could do. And they appreciated that. And then a few days later, I got a referral, because all I cared about was making their life better. Now, if you are a money-focused, I like making money. I really do. And I have plans to make a boatload of money. But if you're a very money-focused agent right now, if you start behaving as though all you care about is your prospects' well-being, whether you get their policies or not, then that will soon cement in your mind, and it will become your mindset. It will become your default mode of operation. So not only do you feel better, that is the more ethical way to behave as a salesperson, is to focus entirely on solving somebody's problem. I always tell people that, well, is insurance agents too, but people that are selling anything, whether it's consulting or mortgages or cars or furniture or retail stuff, whatever the case may be, if you are not solving somebody's problem and making their life better, you either have the wrong customer in front of you or you're selling the wrong product. And that's the same. That's also true with insurance. If you're not making somebody's life better, you're doing something wrong. So instead of just thinking, well, you got to change your mindset, have a positive mindset and think like this, it's like, no, that's too abstract. You got to have a specific thing that we're talking about. And one of those many things in your mindset is stop focusing on the sale and start focusing on problem solving.
If you're doing the process right, it shouldn't feel salesy or pushy. It should feel like you're actually solving the problem. They're excited about that. And if you're solving a problem, you're selling on value, not on price anymore. And so therefore, yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play there if you're selling on value, how you're solving a problem, getting them excited. So appreciate everybody being here. Everybody have a great week, and hopefully you guys have a very blessed rest of your month. Thanks.